CleanSpark, a software company that provides microgrid solutions. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I'm not a financial advisor. I got a new hoodie to prove it. Look at this, it's grey. My new black hoodie came in too. You can see now the logo is in all caps. It used to look like this. This is the hoodie you've seen in all of my videos, but I think it looks better with the whole caps, baby. But anyway, right, we're on to CleanSpark. So yesterday I got so many comments and lots of DMs on Instagram asking me to make a video on this company. And this is a relatively complex but very exciting company once you do start to get into them. So in the intro I said they provide microgrid solutions. And if you're like me, the first thing you'll think when you heard that was,
what's a microgrid solution?
And that will of course be the first thing we cover in today's video. So we're going to be covering the grid and then microgrids. We're going to be covering how CleanSpark comes into the occasion and how they can be very valuable to some absolutely massive customers. As always, we're going to have a look at the website, get a basic understanding of the company, then move on to the investor presentation. Of course, we're going to have a look at the management team, the CEO, and on that note, we're going to be having a look at how many shares are held by insiders because it's quite interesting. And there's honestly just an awful lot to go through in today's video, so get yourselves strapped in, people. So right before we get into looking at the company's website, can I please ask you to smash a like on this video? It genuinely means so much to me and really helps me and the channel out. If you're new around here, please hit that juicy red subscribe button. Join the family. We just hit 16,500 subs this morning. The road to 20k is on. And lastly, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video, or if you're getting involved in this company, what you think about them in general. With all of that being said, let's get into it, people. So starting off on the website, the first thing we're greeted with is the future of energy management, software that makes microgrids happen. An integrated suite of software that provides end-to-end microgrid energy modeling and management. Now, honestly, before we go any further, I just want to go through what a microgrid actually is, or else a lot of this website won't make any sense at all. So to understand how a microgrid works, first of all, we have to understand how the grid works, or power grids work. Electrical power is a little bit like the air you breathe. You don't really think about it until it's missing. Power is just there, meeting your every need constantly. It's only during a power failure when you walk into a dark room and instinctively hit the useless light switch that you realize how important power is in your daily life. So electrical power travels from the power plant to your house through an amazing system called the power distribution grid, or just the grid. So most of us take it for granted. We don't really think about it. It's anything but simple. There's 450,000 miles of high voltage power lines and 160,000 miles of overhead transmission lines in the United States alone, connecting electric power plants to homes and businesses. So the grid traditionally uses a large amount of fossil fuels, coal, things of the likes. So it is evolving currently, okay? Upgrades in technology now let us connect our own home generated electricity to the grid using solar panels or wind generators, okay? And get paid back by utilities. The US federal government is also investing in a so-called smart grid that employs digital technology to more efficiently manage energy sources. So essentially, the grid is just what gets electricity to your house. Now, let's get on to the microgrid, the technology poised to transform electricity, the path to a cleaner, more reliable, more resilient energy grid. And keep in mind, this is what CleanSpark does, software that makes microgrids happen. A grid is any combination of power sources, power users, wires to connect them, and some sort of control system to operate it all. A microgrid just means a small, freestanding grid, freestanding being important. It can consist of several buildings, one small building, sometimes called a nanogrid, or even one person, a picogrid. So some microgrids stand on their own. So this building here is connected to the big grid, but during a blackout, the big grid goes down. It has no power. So let's say this now has its own microgrid. Even if the big grid goes down, this building can apply power to itself. Now, as of right now, most microgrids rely on diesel generators, which create terrible air pollution. So the next logical step, okay, where CleanSpark comes in, is integrating more diversity, including distributed renewable energy, solar panels, wind generation, things of the like. So CleanSpark makes microgrids, okay, and they make energy efficient microgrids, sustainable microgrids. Now, if you know me, you know I love a good investor's presentation. This one is from December 2018, so some of the information will be somewhat outdated, but I prefer them just to get a better understanding of the company. So we're going to have a quick look through it nonetheless. So the electric grid is getting more distributed, okay, expected to grow at a compound rate of 21%. That's very fast. Distributed energy resources pose the biggest disruption to the centralized utility business model, as sales of DER products are expected to grow 3 to 5 times faster than central grid products. All DER is, it's electrical generation and storage performed by a microgrid. Technology leadership. Essentially, this enables the integration and optimization of a variety of power generation sources, okay? Solar, batteries, fuel cells, diesel generators. Ultimately, they do want this to be clean energy. Generation and energy storage agnostic, providing complete flexibility in working with customers on power solutions. Offer proprietary electric switchgear products necessary to connect power generation equipment to the grid. So the switchgear is used both to de-energize equipment to allow work to be done and to clear faults downstream. Now these numbers go back to 2018. We will get into some of the more recent numbers later on in the video. Switchgear product business provides about $10 million of annual baseline profitable revenue. So there was a sizable growing backlog under contract of $4.5 million for manufacturing in December and early 19. Reoccurring customer orders are expected to result in an additional $5 million plus in 2019 orders, and the microgrid backlog stands at $18 million. Now a little bit more up-to-date information. CleanSpark announces quarterly results in a statement to its shareholders. They delivered record revenue of 372% year-over-year increase. So in the quarter ended December 31st, 2019, revenue was up 372% from the quarter last year. Now that revenue is still sub $1 million, but we'll get into a bit about the market cap and the opportunity later on. Gross profit increased 238%. Do look at the gross profit though, sub $100,000. Net loss per share improved by 23 cents, still negative. So they're business segments. First up, we have software and controls, okay? The average margin is at 80 to 95%. A lot of money made here. Hardware sales, average margin 9 to 25%, and project development and engineering services, average margin 10 to 40%. But software and controls is obviously their big boy. Our technology is critical to the integration of power generation and storage assets. So this is a little bit of what the process actually looks like, okay? CleanSpark have the software, and alongside Pioneer CEP, they're in the transmission and distribution side of things. So our business, customer value propositions. We provide solutions to meet our customers' expanding needs, okay? The control of distributed energy assets, energy cost avoidance, sustainability. This is a very, very important one, especially from the eyes of an investor, okay? Energy resilience, revenue generation, another very, very important one. Critical power protection and power quality. A growing ecosystem of partners creating revenue growth. So distributors, developers, engineering, etc., and energy storage vendors. So customer segments, backup generation, paralleling switchgear, and integrated power center. Over here particularly, you'll know these names. They also do work with some government agencies we'll get into a little bit later on. Actually, we're going to get into it right now. Software and microgrid customer segments, okay? Turnkey microgrid design, engineering and development services. Military contractor since 2014. So their software and microgrid products, it's easier to understand it here than it even is on the website, to be honest. Their MVSO, their modeling and design software, okay? MVSO supports strategic decision making in energy projects, pinpoints opportunities throughout diverse energy markets, and tests business models and performance under various regulatory constraints, and they deliver the answers needed to make confident energy investment decisions. And then we have Impulse, enterprise control and monitoring software. It intelligently manages and optimizes energy assets to maximize benefits through machine learning. Machine learning, very, very important in this day and age. It orchestrates the operation of energy assets in coordination with electric loads and the utility to maximize energy savings, revenue, reduce CO2, and secure critical loads. Great product. So essentially, Impulse secures our customers' cash flows. This here, real-time power source decision making based on forecasted power system needs ensures the system is ready to perform the highest value functions when needed. It's efficient. It's very, very efficient. So we see cost reduction and technology improvements equals opportunity. Now, an interesting graph, and we can go look at some more up-to-date graphs after this one. The global market for DER products and services will generate $1.3 billion annually in new revenue opportunities globally. 60% of our equipment is deployed on distributed energy products, but we believe we are insulated from most technology adoption risk as we can enable optimal performance of any power gen technology. So here's what the growth looks like. The US energy storage behind the meter market grew 79% year over year in 2017. And look at that jump. Bloomberg New Energy Finance forecast the global energy storage market will double 6 times from 2017 to 2030. That's insane. So microgrid market trends, this is very important. We need to make sure there is a market for this product before we decide to invest in the company. It doesn't matter if we believe in the company, if we believe in the product they're offering, there has to be a market, and there has to be a growing market, and there has to be opportunity. So compound annual growth rate, 27%. And the global microgrid market, estimated under 10 billion in 2014 and projected to exceed 40 billion by 2020. We get some more up-to-date information, okay, and we see the global microgrid market size is projected to reach USD 47.4 billion by 2025 from USD 28.6 billion in 2020 at a compound annual growth rate of 10.6%. And I would not be surprised in all honesty if this number only goes up and up, at least for a good few years. This is a service that at some stage of life is not going to be a luxury, it's going to be a necessity. That is one thing that does make it quite exciting to me personally. So a little bit on the management team, okay, the CEO, etc., because you know I always like to have a look at this. So the CEO is Matthew Schutz. He's been involved in many capacities with several publicly traded companies. Most recently, he serves as the president and CEO of Amerigo Energy, creating multiple syndicated offerings of development oil production programs, as well as overseeing the operations from permitting through production. Since 1999, he's assisted numerous development and early stage companies to secure financing and experience significant growth. That is fantastic. That's something you definitely want to see for a company like CleanSpark. As the president of Wexford Capital Ventures, he was instrumental in funding companies both domestically and abroad. He studied management and finance at Weber State University. So he currently holds 5.79% of the shares in CleanSpark. Now, I listened to one short interview that this man was just speaking about CleanSpark. It was only like 12 minutes long, and he came off quite well. He definitely didn't have an excitement factor about him like a lot of, you know, the big CEOs right now do, your Elon Musks, etc. But he did seem very knowledgeable. He seemed passionate. All in all, I do like him, but I do want to do a little bit more research into him. So now we have a good idea, at least, of the basics of the company and what a microgrid is. That's very important. And I do personally believe there will be a massive market opportunity for these kind of clean energy microgrid solution providers. There are certain businesses out there who just can't afford to lose energy ever. The military, for example, we just saw them working with them. They can't afford to lose energy at any given time. So right now it's sitting at $5.58 a share, and that was after a near 14% gain yesterday. I guess that's why a lot of people were asking for me to cover it. Their 52-week range, a 97-cent low, and a $13.50 high. EPS as of right now is negative $5.05, but I don't really like looking at that in regards to growth companies too much. Market cap of sub $90 million and a 1-year target estimate of $18. But if we scroll down a little bit, we'll see that there's not very many analysts with any recommendations on the company. 2019 was a whole lot better than 2018 in every way possible in regards to money, but it's still not in a great position, but that's okay. And then the first quarter of this year, revenue was up massively, earnings were also down massively. 31% of shares are held by insiders. That's a large amount, and only 1.33% of shares are held by institutions, so there's not really any big institutions getting involved in these guys just yet. So operating loss has been going up every single year. There is a float of only 9.14 million. A float is the amount of regular shares that are circulating. So there's only 9.14 million shares available to be traded right now, because the rest of them are held by insiders or institutions. So that's not a lot of shares at all. And this can be both an exciting thing and a somewhat scary thing, because if this company is to be in demand, more than likely, yes, your share prices are going to go up, but I would find it very hard to believe that a time won't come where they will issue new shares, which will then lead to dilution. But that's only a small thing. It's not too much to worry about if you're investing for the long-term outlooks and prospects. Overall, guys, I think the world does need companies like CleanSpark, and if they can be one of the big ones, it's going to be a fantastic future for them. So again, back late February, CleanSpark announced $1.1 million in contracts from its recently acquired subsidiary, P2K Labs. And now just last month, CleanSpark provides update on strategic acquisition and announces an 80% increase in P2K Labs comparable revenues. I think this is one of the reasons this company is shooting up in value so much as of late, because they are being proactive, they are doing these acquisitions, and they seem to be paying off, which is obviously going to be filling the investors with confidence. It makes sense. Now, me personally, do I plan to invest? To be honest, guys, I don't just yet at all. I think there is a lot more to understand about this company before I decide to invest. I have genuinely spent probably 6, 7, 8 hours looking into this company, and I still feel like I am barely scratching the surface. And as well, there is a lot of hype behind this company right now, so don't get me wrong, I definitely expect this price to go up in the very short term at least, but I wouldn't be comfortable investing just yet. But maybe one day I will be if I am to go out and do that bit more research. So please, if this video did make you interested in this company and you do understand that, you know, there could be a massive market for these microgrid solutions, do more due diligence. Don't just go blindly invest because you saw it was up 14% yesterday. We've seen it happen time and time again where a company with a relatively small market cap shoots up in value and crashes a few days later. Don't invest purely based off hype is essentially what I'm trying to say, you know? I know I'm not a financial advisor, but I can at least give you some advice and say, don't do the bad things. But anyway guys, that was CleanSpark. If you have watched until the end of the video, you my friend are a true legend, and I genuinely appreciate you and your support so much, and I hope that in return I was able to give you some useful information and some sort of entertainment as well. That's always the goal on this channel. If you did enjoy and you did take something from this video, please do smash that like button and drop me a comment. Those things help me out massively. And of course, if you're not part of the family yet, hit that juicy red subscribe button, people. Very interesting company, but I really do urge you to do more due diligence before investing. Don't just get excited. But anyway guys, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for the next video. Peace.